During the recent events, the lockdowns and so on, a lot of people were stuck at home and were forced to work from home. Hi, it's Mike from Casefile and Casefile Presents. On this channel I'm talking about podcasting. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. There aren't many comfortable places or as comfortable as our own homes. And having the office few steps away from your bedroom or sometimes in your bedroom offers a lot of flexibility. In the past, working from home meant more than often that you're either running your own business or you're self-employed or you're freelancing. Now, of course, the events of the last year and a half or a couple of years meant that a lot of people were forced to work from home. And because of that, the landscape changed a little bit. And now companies offer flexible working schedules where people can go to office for a day or two, but they can also stay at home and do their work from there, especially if your work involves doing a lot of stuff over the internet or on a phone. And I see this just becoming the norm in the future. Now, working from home seemed like a dream come true for many people because it means no boss, no manager standing there next to you. You can work sitting in your PJs, so there is no dress code, there is no meetings, there is no fixed schedule. Offers a lot of flexibility. I've been doing this for 6 years now, so over 6 years working from home, and I had my experience with working in an office, fast-paced environment, as well as I've done a lot of different jobs over the years in different places. So I've got a comparison, and I wrote this list of pros and cons of working from home just before the lockdowns actually. But now when I see how the reality impacted a lot of people, I want to share that list with you to offer my opinion on it, and then some arguments pro working from home and against it to see if you agree with it. So here's my pros and cons of working from home, but please remember that I can set my own schedule. So my situation, even though we're working from home, may be a little bit different to yours. The first good thing is no schedule. The writer Matthew Walker writes in his book Why We Sleep, he presents a theory that we have different sleeping schedules. There are people who are morning people, but there are people who prefer, because of their biological clock, a little bit of a later start in a day. Now, unfortunately, most companies, most services prefer the early morning people, or they're set to this kind of schedule. So you've got your 8 to 4s, your 9 to 5s. This kind of schedule makes a lot of people grumpy in the morning. So when you work from home, you don't have to adhere to that kind of schedule. You can wake a little bit late, or maybe you start even earlier than normal. You can take as many breaks as you want and kind of fit the schedule around you. The second obvious thing is no dress code. So you don't have to get up early to do your makeup or iron your shirt or put nice clothes on. You can work in your PJs, you can work in your row, you can work naked if you want. There will be no one commenting you behind your back. The third good thing is when it comes to booking services and different appointments. Now, this has changed a little bit as more and more people work from home, but because the world works 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, if you need to book something, if you wanna go to a restaurant, if you wanna go to the cinema, if you wanna go to the dentist, there's just slots that everyone fights for. When you work from home, you can go to these places off peak and there is less queuing. If you go to a restaurant, there are more offers because they want people throughout the day as well. You got your 2-for-1s, your happy hours. Cinemas, are pretty empty during the day. So that was really good. One of my favorite things of working from home. But like I said, as more and more people work from home and have that kind of flexible schedules, this has changed a little. 4. Unnecessary meetings. Now, for anyone who ever worked in the office, you know the pain of attending this kind of meetings that are complete waste of time. And then you got your gossiping next to coffee machine and some other unproductive activities. Fortunately, when you work from home, there's none of that. Well, there is some of that now, but much less than when you're in the office. So you can be more productive and you can finish your tasks earlier. And depending on your boss, depending on your job, you can do something else. You don't have to sit idly at your workplace looking at the clock thinking, okay, is it 5 yet or not? And 5, no pressure, or less pressure. When you work in a sort of high-paced office environment, obviously you got tight deadlines, so people get stressed, and the stress feeds on itself. And suddenly you are in this one place with all these people, everyone's stressed, you're in this bubble of pressure, and it's just not a great place to be. When you're at home, you still got deadlines, you still got your clients, but there are no stressed colleagues around you. I find it's much more relaxed when you're working. And when I'm stressed, I know that it's just me who is spreading that stress around. It would be good to end it here. It's all great. We work from home and everyone's happy. But as with everything and most things, that's not the case. Working from home works for some, but it doesn't work from other people. It also has consequences. And after a few years, I learned a few negative aspects. And the first is no schedule. I believe routines are good for us. They help us to organize various tasks. They help us to get things done and help us, keep healthy in the long run. When you're working from home, when you've got that no manager standing next to you, you've got no fixed schedule, it's easier to sort of let things go or move things around. I'll do it a bit later, or I'll do it tomorrow. That can negatively affect your sort of workflow. Having no schedule at all might not be such a great thing. And if I'm completely honest, I have my daily schedule that I somewhat adhere to, and in some instances it is more rigid than what I had when I worked for a company at an office. 2 is no dress code. So at first, sitting in your robe on your PJs for a whole day may sound like a great idea, but if you don't have to dress up or put nice clothes day after day after day, in the long run you may stop taking care of yourself. And I'm not saying that you've got to put on your makeup or your suit, but it's all about having that balance to watch out for. For example, I put on normal clothes in the morning. I know I'm ready to work, but if you want to spend a day or two in your PJs or your robe and then change, that's okay too. It's just, sort of keeping a tab on it, not letting yourself go just because you can. 3, no reason to leave the house. And especially when you're busy with work, like for example sometimes I am, it becomes hard to go out. And add to that, like I mentioned before, no reason to dress up. You may find yourself just sort of staying at home for longer than you usually would, even though you may be in like a city center of a bustling city. It doesn't matter. And suddenly you can realize, well, the last time I left my house was 3 days ago. 4, it gets kinda lonely. So I know I moaned about unnecessary meetings and the gossiping next to a coffee machine and all that, but after a while you kinda miss it, or I kinda miss it. Well, you miss just sitting there with people and having all that banter and chit chat and even doing a bit of gossip. I'm lucky because Right now, my wife also works from home, but it just means that we get lonely together. It's crucial that you push yourself to get out to meet new people. That means joining a club or doing some extra activities. However, that takes effort. And when you work from an office, that's kinda sorted for you. You meet new people there, you meet your friends there. I find that it's harder to meet new people and do all these things when you are stuck working from home. And 5, feedback and ideas. When you got people, smart and creative people, sitting next to you, it's just easier to get instant feedback, to share ideas, and to bounce ideas off of each other. Because with emails, even with instant messaging services, a lot of context can get lost. And sometimes, you want to ask someone something, but you're like, I'll do it later, and then you forget about it. When you sit in a room of great, talented, creative people, a lot of things can happen. A lot of new ideas can get, developed and put on the table. And I find that with working with people online, especially when they're spread around the world, it's much harder to create that kind of environment. Not impossible, it still happens. We are able to do it with Casefile, it's just much harder. So after working from home for a few years now, I know it's not for everyone. It does require a lot of discipline, it does require a lot of effort, and sort of making yourself to go out and have that social life. And I think that especially after events of the last couple of years, a lot of people came to that kind of conclusion. To meet new people, to sort of engage in conversations with new people, you've got to actively go out, join clubs, join the events or whatever's happening where you live. And it does take effort to do all of that. I'm not saying that it's the same for everyone, it's just sort of my experience. These are the things that I did not think about first when I left the office environment and start working from home. It's something that I'm still learning and I'm still trying to figure out how to approach. Some people, like I have family members that work in the center of London and they just love that hustle and bustle of the city. Don't get me wrong. But for example, for my work and hopefully yours as well, I need quiet environment. I need to be in my studio without distractions. And working from home, if you've got space to do that, is kind of perfect environment for that kind of work. Not only that, but in my situation, the rest of the team, we work in different time zones. So when I'm working, they're asleep, meaning I have no distractions ever. So I don't get emails, I don't get instant messages, and I can get a lot of work done. However, if I'm completely honest, it does get lonely from time to time, and I do miss attending a meeting or two, even if they were a waste of time. So for today, I'm Mike. If you enjoyed the content, check the rest of my channel. For now, you can share, like, you can subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you later.